Okay, class, tough business, eh? Um, it is, especially in the Halloween time when they make all their sales in that time. It uh, there's so many occasions, like even in the Muslims countries, or even in India, during the certain time there was a huge peak of sales, and in that time there's a lots of service required, and on the second day you will see that all this demand, it drops down. So you would know that certain timing of the year, you need to stock up on your product, and you need to stock up on your service. No matter what kind of service you're providing, you still have to provide these services to the customer. Now, so we will start the chapter, and then we will try to take a break around 2 o'clock. Uh, so bear with me, okay? Now, um, we're going to focus a lot on the service process, because most of you will, there is a more chance to get involved into a service than into a manufacturing and product. So you need to understand how the business is going on within the service, and why it is it's different than uh, probably than the rest of the product process or manufacturing. And the main thing, we spoke about it last week, that we said that it is, as we said, it's just type of the service. That's what makes it a little bit different. So just gonna see if there is any questions. No, there is none, no questions. Good. But make sure that if you have any question, just let me know. So probably every service has a service package, that bundle of the good and service that it's offered. The bundle is consists of 5 things. So the 5 things are about that the fact that supporting facilities, we said, the physical resource such as building, housings, and all these things. We talked about the facilitating goods, the material purchased by the consumer or the provider. In this case, you saw in the Halloween, the costume itself, the information, the data that provided by the customer to enable the efficient and customized services. So you've seen that the delivery time they wanted, and what size of packages, what kind of product they need, and the explicit services, the benefit that are readily observable and make the essential feature of the service, and the implicit service, which is the psychological benefit to the things that makes you really feel very positive when you're feeling the prestige in that service. So these are the service packages, or about that every service package has. Now, the issue comes in the fact that the operational classification, as we said in the last class, a service organization that are classified according to the customer that they service and the service that they provide. So there is a customer contact. We will talk about it in the details about how the customer contacts works out, creation of the service, how the creation, and you're going to see a practical side of the creation services on apps, how it works, whether there is a physical presence, of the customer in the system. If there is a service system with a high degree of customer contact or everything online, and if there is the work process involved in providing the service itself. So these are the issues that we will be talking about so more often. Um, now, the service organization design that the inventory cannot be stored, as you saw in the video, that during the Christmas time, the customer care or the call center, they reach up to 200 employees, but during non-customer time, non-the peak time, which is it goes down. It's because the reason that they cannot, they don't have an inventory for these services. So there's what's a special thing about the service is it cannot be stored. On the other hand, if you want to, become provide a good service, you need to be providing, professional people and on time for them. But there is two things that you need to see and balance it. Too much capacity lead to excessive cost. So too many people to provide service will cause an excessive cost. Now, on the other hand, the insufficient capacities leads to customer loss because the customer will go and find somebody else. So as a manager who looks at the service, you need to balance between the two, not having so many employees sitting doing nothing, in the same time not having enough employees where the customers will be start complaining and leaving, and there is few type of leaving. So the waiting, so you bring there the waiting line models, which is provide a good mathematical tool and analyzing tool to see how you can manage between providing the service for the customers, where you do not go with an excessive cost, and you don't go with a very bad services where you lose your customers. So the process will be looking at, in the second half, we will show the details of this video. You need to look at the degree of the customer service contact. So what kind of a degree, whether you have a buffered core, a preamble system, receivable system. But before that, you need to look at the sales opportunity, whether you need to do a sales, is there a sales opportunity, or you just, is it high, low, and the production efficiencies. So the more the sales opportunity goes on, your production efficiencies will go lower. And you need to classify, are you doing face-to-face total customization like the doctors and lawyers, or are you doing face-to-face loose space like customer service in Walmart, or tight space, or on a phone contact. So it's a depend on the situation where you look at your business and what's the characteristic that you're looking into that business. Are you doing upselling, or you just providing product efficiencies and doing that service for them. So as another way, you need to look at the customer characteristics also. So here you need to look at the degree of the customer service contacts, whether is a high or in a low. So as we said, in a diagnostic, which is a lawyer or a doctor, is work requirement extreme contact there. In the psychology, when you see a psychiatrist, also the same thing. But on the clerical work, which is, a very low level of the services. So work requirement is very minimum. Now, according to that, it's also you need to look at how much is paper handling in it. So whether it's the lots of paper handling in it will take more time or less paper handling. And these paper need to be, looked at it, tested. I mean, on a detailed base, or you just looking at these things. And also you need to look at whether there is a technology involvement. So in our case is like, whether you need just an office automation, computer database, or on the very high client worker teams, which is they do what you call a matrix situation. So in a metric situation, the client, the workers could be 2, 3 people, and they do one set of work, and then and the other job, it's according to their responsibility will change. So whether we do a self-service, do we need the electronic aid? They are all, according to the degree of customer service. So when I suggest, when you go to the word, to the working world, you go a step by step looking at the level that the company providing for its customer. And you notice maybe in the old days or in the early establishment, they might be starting from this side, but step by step they will be moving, and it's a constant moving, shifting from a left to up to the degree where the customers start reaching to a level where you provide the customer satisfaction as a service-wise. So it's basically, as we said, if you have a process mail at U.S. postal code or any postal code, it's mostly it's going to be a clerical skills, paper handling, and office automation. But when you come to a software support service here, well, because you need to provide a verbal skill, and we're going to show you how it works. And then on the end, you need typical like a certified public accountant and lawyers and doctors, probably in the same case situation. Okay. Just let me know if you have any question. You can speak to me or write down, doesn't matter. Now, so the virtual service, which is recently, not recently according to the history, but virtual services, it is the new role of the customers. And pure, there is two types. There is a pure virtual customer contact, and its company enable customer to interact with one another in an open environment. And the mixed virtual or the actual customer contact, it's like a you interact with each other, customers interact with each other, but in a certain environment that is dedicated in that field. So when you, for example, when you go on chatting, there's certain subjects is raised and you start chatting there and find out, or it's same thing with the YouTube or Wikipedia. In a certain environment there it's done. Now, so as we said, there is, when you go to work, there is something, it's called service blueprint. Service blueprint is usually a chart, or you always see it also in the travel industry, in the airline. Although this person maybe done this for 20 years, but it still has this checkpoint with him, because memorizing things is not a good idea. Although you've been doing the same job for the last 20 years and you memorize everything, you still have to do the checking thing. So the service blueprint, it's about the process design in a flow chart. How is the work is done as a service? And this is what you called a service blueprint. And it's a unique of services in the distinguish made between the process that you need to take while you are working, and has a certain procedures. But the good part of this service process or the blueprint, you always have you can find out the failing uh, thing, might where the things might fail. So you have say, okay, in this case, if it fails, then we will do A, B, C. And in this case, if it fails, we will do this case. So it is kind of giving you fail saving involves using the service blueprint. So it identifies where is the things that you might fail and how it's going to be affecting you. So how you're going to fix it, and that's what you call to prevent the mistake from becoming defected. Uh, it's called Poka-Yokes, and it's basically the definition of it is identify the opportunity for failures, and then establish the procedure to prevent the mistake from becoming a defect. So you just look at the flow chart or the service blueprint and say, where is the things goes wrong? So in this case, how are we going to fix it? So this is how what the definition of Poka-Yokes means. Now, Poka-Yokes is a procedure that block the inventable mistake from becoming a service defect. So you are trying to avoid the mistakes. And if you notice, if there is some mistakes, if you in when you're going on shopping, for example, in Walmart, there is certain procedure. You notice that the teller or the one who is, working on scanning your product will call his supervisor right away. He will enter number into the service and start moving on with this. Or even if you do a self-check, there is somebody will come and fix things right away for you. So these are things that they are looking at in the operation where the things goes wrong, so how they can fix it right away. And many application of Poka-Yokes to service. For example, warning methods, steps that lead to a mistake, trigger, or a reminder. And basically, um, it is warning method is a physical or visual contact method, and it is the three T's, which is the task to be done, treatment accorded to the customer, and tangible feature of the service. So these are the three services, the applications of Poka-Yokes in the services. So you do a warning method, how it's we avoid the physical and visual method, and the three T's that you're looking at it. Now, this is only the flow chart, one of the blueprint that they look at it. And here's where is this probably tells you that what's going to happen in the first stage. And if it's yes, you will find this in many large organizations will show you the procedures of how these things can be done. And it's called business process or BPI, which is, it shows the procedures, how it's done. And it's a huge business, lots of consultants, their job comes in and fix this BPM and show the better way of doing these, whether they're saving time or they're saving money or saving on employees. And this is in a constant approval. So it talks about from the customer calls for the service, then it goes to the service department and what's the procedures done in the service department, and then the customer activities with this, for example, the vehicle. This is a process where, you know, you go and try to change the oil of your car, or you try to fix your car, and then when the customer basically get the appointment, he comes in and you know get the appointment and uh, looks at the issues, and the service provider will be looking at the issues and whether these issues are, you know, and then they give estimation, and it is a process of how this thing it working. For example, when you do, as a good example, when you go to Mr. Loop, for example, you stand there, you will see somebody will walks in, welcome you, puts you inside, takes the information from your card, your information, your data, and then will give you an estimation for work. And once you approve it, then they will have him and some other teams will be working on that services, and then the other is going to be the costing. Now, if it's more complicated, they might ask for a approval, that they call it approval, but actually they bring in a more experienced consultant to give the prices, and this is where it happens, like a no on an yes cases, and then they prepare the cost and they ship it to you as the cost. So these are the process that they work on it. Now, many of us, practice the waiting lines. Now, the waiting lines, it has two parts. I mean, there is a cultural part of it where in some countries they don't wait, they don't like to wait so much. And then other countries they don't even wait online. They just, as a group comes in, and this is the challenges that you face in the different culture. And in other, like they would stay online and respect the terms and whose turn is that. Now, so waiting line problems or the queues is a central problem in many services setting. Is the management for waiting time. How you're going to make somebody wait or wait longer and not leaving you until the time comes in to provide the service for them. So reducing the waiting time costs money, as we said, but and it's also but raise the customer satisfaction and it makes you happy. But at the same time, you might be going on a very risky where you provide so many service providers, which is costing you so much money, and you cannot have enough customers. So you need to find the balance between them. So when usually when people uh, waiting are employees. This is some people. This is how some company looks at it. So these people who comes in there, they're employees somewhere. So it's easy to value their time and not somebody who has a lots of time just to waste it. So when the people waiting are customer, it's more difficult to value their time. So you have people comes in there and it's very difficult to see which one is, you know, that is work making $100 an hour or who is making $15 an hour. They're all customers, and who looks at his time more urgently than the others. So these are so difficult to really to estimate in the situation. So basically, loss scale is one of the values. I just don't want to spend so much time on this because we're going to go and look at it from a different angle. And it's very important that you can see it from a different angle. I hope there's a second half of the class we can talk about this different angle of how you look at it. The arrival and service profile. So you notice there's certain timing that you should, as a customer, you should usually you don't go there because it says it's too busy. So you try to go in a time, different times. But as a service provider, you usually have this chart in your mind and what time, your customer is coming. So, and you have as a service provider, a service, there is certain normal capacities that you can provide, and you cannot go more than that. So when this happens, then you need to choose at what section you will be probably the normal capacity, and if it's more here, you notice that the waiting becomes much longer. And here there is the risk of losing some of your customer. But if you're moving this normal capacity, the service that you want to provide up to here, then so many places that you have your employees sitting doing nothing. And this is also a costing and running risk. So the service capacity is usually, you have it some kind of a fix, and hoping that with your calculation and your history, you know exactly where you can match and where they overrun requirement, but these in that time, they can wait, for example, extra time. um, so this is the issues that you need to look at it when you're providing a service. On the other hand, that the number of arrivals over the hour that the service system is open. The other thing, and you can control that with uh, uh, short lines, a specific hour for a specific customers, and specials, which is we will show you in next slide. And the other thing, the customer demand varying among the service. So there is two things. Sometimes you have number of the number of visitors, it goes high, but they're all the same. And this is different when it comes in. um, Number of employee visitors or customers the same, but they have different things, and it gets varies and could be a combination. And the both can, in these cases, the both can be very, different approach to them. So the way you managing the queue, you can segment the customers. As in, you noticed in the different customers can do segment them. Um, you can train your service to be more friendly. The more friendly your servers, the more customer willing to wait. Uh, you can also inform the customer that they have to wait extra time, so that they will understand it's acceptable, and try to deliver the customer attention when waiting. So you can play, I don't know, some TV so people can watch it. Meanwhile, they're waiting. If you notice, in probably in a big elevators, high-rise buildings, you will have some TV. People will pay attention until their, elevator opens and they go in. So you can divert their customer attention. You can have games of football. You go there and sit and watch. Especially you find this in hairdressers, so people can wait, or in a doctor when you go and visit the doctor, and encourage the customer to come during this slack period. So you can give make the customer, if it comes in certain time, they can get a gift or discount or whatever, something like that. It can manage your queuing. The source of population. There is two type. There is certain two type of source of population. Sometimes it's a very your customers and the population of your customers, so it's kind of very finite or infinite. So it's a very open, and there's so many it comes in, and population and the customer arrival rate, it could be different. So it could be exponential, so it suddenly comes in, or it goes with a certain level, which is Poisson, it's called, and or a constant level coming in like this. So the arrival times or the queuing times is also happening in this case. The customer arrival, what type of the customers, and this first we said the rate, now the what type of the customers, arrival patterns, steady or seasonal. So the seasonal, like the example we looked at it is, the October time for customs, the size and the arrival rate, whether they're coming individually or in a group. If you notice, for example, in a college, during the certain breaks, there was so much pressures on restaurants, and it goes down and up. Now it's like an empty. You take that into estimation, and the degree of patient. Once again, we said we need to know how much these people can wait, because you don't want them to just leave you in there. Okay, so this is how it looks, and the queuing, a customer comes in and then exit. A friend of mine and we will work together on a queuing, which is we did an electronic queuing in the early days, 4 or 5 years ago, a software application for hairdressing, and basically is you request your queue and you make down payment. It's a process of making the queuing, and he managed to sell it for a bank. And the bank is basically, before you leave your home, you can, on the application, you can ask for, take your number and tell them what kind of service you're looking for. So when you reach there, you don't have to wait a lot. And they, on the other side, they know how many customers are coming and what that they're looking for, these customers. So they have these specialized service providers ready for your service. So this is one of the application that you can, manage your queuing system. But you're looking at really the part where customer arrivals and time of the service that's providing and the time of the exit. But these are the part where the service system you're looking at from the time they coming there. You have to look at how you can make them wait longer for you to come, for you to provide the service. Now, so the queuing system is, you need to look at the length, the number of lines, the queuing discipline, the priority rules set up, and determine the order of the service for the customer who are waiting in line. So there is, you see, keep in mind, as we have a stock in the warehouse for goods, and once the warehouse runs from the goods, then is a problem for a production company. And we went through the last 6 chapters, how to do the lean manufacturing and how to deliver things smoothly. Here is, you look at it differently. You look at it from outside. These, you're not gonna make any revenue or income if nobody comes into your store and requests the service. So this looks at more, you look at the customer as more like your product in the warehouse. So the more comes in, the better for you, but assuming that you can provide this service. And the problem, these people, when they come in, some of them, they don't want to wait or start complaining or trying to find somewhere else. So you want to make sure how you're going to provide these people service where you can generate, maximize your profit and minimize your costs. So you look at one of the tricks that you do is the queuing system. And in the queuing system is you look at the length, the line over the length, the number of lines, and the queuing discipline. So if the line of the length, whether is infinite or limited. So limited, like, when you go and change your oil in a car, they cannot have 10, 150 cars waiting because that's going to go through the street and they cannot wait in that line. So you need to make sure that how many is it, the line is limited. Or do you have the infinite potential, a place that where you can have so many customer comes in, like a Canadian Tire. You want to change the oil, so they tell you, okay, we'll do that for you. Have a seat, and then you sit there waiting, looking at the news on TVs. So that's infinite one. And then you have the number of line, how many lines there, so how many service providers, and whether single or multiple. Um, we noticed recently, for example, in McDonald's in Canada, they started doing multiple lines because they want to take the orders and they don't want to see so many cars are waiting in a line. So they had two-sided to make the order. Now, there is a queuing discipline, first come, first serve, as mostly short processing time. So there is sometimes, you will have, when you go to an embassy or somewhere and says, whomever wants to do this, please come this side, because that's a short processing time. So they're trying to take away some people from that line. Emergencies, and this happens a lot in the hospitals. When you go to the hospital emergency department, they will rate your emergency level, and that will accordingly will estimate the timing that you have to wait. If you're not that emergent, sometimes you have to wait 4 or 5 hours, and sometimes in the same time they take you in. And limited need and the others. So it is so many things that these issues that you need to look at it when you define the queuing. And the queuing is the one of the main thing that you are looking at to not lose the customers when they come in, to they get them hooked in, not to leave, not to find people complaining or, you're losing these customers. The second part is the quality of the service that you are providing. Now, so you're looking at the customer arrival factors. Now, we looked at the physical, how is these things happening? Uh, now we look at the customer, how they are coming, the distribution, whether they're coming constantly, as we said, exponentials or Poisson, or other type, like as a group, which is sudden comes in and sudden leave. The pattern, whether can be controllable or non-controllable. Can we, how much of this can we control and how much, we cannot control. The size of arrival, whether it's they're coming one by one or coming as a group, a batch, like the ones in, stadium, when there is a hockey game or a football game, they could be coming single, couple, or a batch together. And this has to be, looked at it differently. How much they can wait, whether patient in line and stay in line, or it just impatient and he leaves. And it happens so many times. We go there and we see a long line. We just don't stand in the line. We just leave. And sometimes we go in a line, we wait for a while and see, we feel that it's going slow, and then we leave. So there is arrive, view, and leave, and there is arrive, wait a while, and then leave. And and then you're losing potential of income when you do that. Now, so this is type of arrival factors, and it is called bulking away the last time, which is comes in and leave. Now, the queuing system factor, the length of a queue, how much waiting room space is available. As we said, when you talk about changing oil, you cannot have more than 4 or 5 cars are waiting in Mr. Loop, for example. The number of lines, how many servers are working, how many people are providing this service, how many queues that they can have, the queue discipline, how much they can wait, these people, the service time distribution, what is the service rate, and how much does it vary. So the line structure, we said, as a you can create a single channel and a single phase. So single channel and single phase, or a single channel and multiple phases. So you have group, phase 2, phase 3, and then goes on one channel. You notice sometimes one channel, but there is so many teams, or especially in the bank, you will see one channel and there is 4 or 5 people who are providing the service. So you can be a single channel, a single phase, or a single channel, multiple phases, and it could be multiple channels with a single phase, one person providing, or multi-channel and multi-phases. It's depend on the situation sometimes, or the type of the service, or the place that you're looking for the service. But you need to get your servers ready for all these type, and which one works the best at better at which time. Now, the service time distribution, it is constant. Service is automated and not customized to individual customer, like like a car wash. It is a standard and keeps same thing. But on the other hand, there is the variable, which is makes it more difficult, which is you're providing the service to human, and it can be customized and different from one to another, and it has different range. Could be very limited range or very wide range. Is decided depending on the the service that you are providing. Now, exiting the queuing system, this is the most part that you need to look at it to make sure you don't have people exiting the queuing system, because if you, as we said, it's just like your warehouse running low, losing customers, leaving the queuing system. It is dangerous thing, and it is customer who have been served have two possibility. You look at it and you say, when low probability of reservicing, and return to source probability. Sometimes you look at this customer will come back again, because whatever the service that he's getting, the machine that he has is going to break again and again. And sometimes you say no. So the high probability. The low probability is this machine is usually once a year need a support, and that's a different thing. It's called low probabilities. Okay, I'll probably we'll take a break soon. This is after this slide, we'll take a break. The models works like that. So we talked about simple system, constant system timeline, and multi-channels, and how the layout happens, and then the service phases, how these things happen. And if you notice in the end here, we talk about drive-in tellers, bank, one-line toll, and this is the simple system. And then you like a roller coasters, ride and amusement. This is differently, and then the parts counters and agencies. Now, after we will take a break, and we will talk about. Um, we'll talk about when we come. Okay, class. We're back, and let's start again. So basically, we did speak about computer simulations for waiting line in the last class before the break. Now I forgot where I took. Where is my coffee? I took it with me downstairs, and I don't know where is it now. No worries. So we said um, some waiting line problems are very complex. So a server with a different capabilities, multiple customer types, and there was equation assumed that the waiting line are independent when one service is the input of the next service. So can go longer using this simulation formula. And some problem have conditions that do not meet the requirement of the equation, like a finite population. Suddenly you don't have a control, you don't know how many people is going to come. It's open to the whole community, specific arrival time, or specific daytime, and the service distribution, just like we said in the custom, like during the October event, Halloween event. And so this is kind of end of the chapter for from a different view. Now, I just wanted to take you back to the previous chapter, but because of the timing, we're not going to talk about project management because we did in the early stage. But in general, when we talk about project management, we spoke about there is a different definitions for a different phase, where we do a definition, we do a pre-implementation, implementation, and operation, uh, going live, and post-implementation. So in this case, these arrival should be looked at as a project. How you gonna keep all these people happy and provide them a service? And it's like a project that you need to do all over again. Now, as we said, there is in this chat, what we spoke about, we spoke about a simple, a queuing solution, how to make sure that we are providing the right lineup to keep the flow and smooth. The service is smooth. The smoother is the service, the better for you. The more business is for you. And as we said, service providing is you look at your customers at your products when it comes to it. So if you're out of customers, means you are out of products, it means out of revenue in this way. So you need to look at it as two part. Part is of the flow of the customers, and the second part is how you're going to provide the service. And here we're going to look at how we are from a different point of view, the CRM, the business intelligence, the customer relationship management, which is the CRM, the business analysis part of it, of managing these people to come in there. We're not going to go very deep in it because this course is not about looking at the application part. It's about looking at the services that is provided. And these applications usually will show you the services that it's provided. Now, when we speak about CRM or customer relationship management, the first thing when you walk in any store, let's say a mobile company, a mobile store, or Bell or Rogers, they will ask you for your number or your for ID. Is just to bring all the information that about you. So this is first thing that they do when you walk to any server provider. They will look at the CRM. Now the CRM is usually, it means capture and integrate the customer data from all over the organization, consolidate the data, analyze the data, and then distribute the rest to a various system and customer touch point, a contact point across the enterprise. So it will bring your payment from the financial, it will bring your product that's being delivered to you, like your mobile, to being delivered to you, what kind of mobile from the warehouse. It will bring your contract from the legal department and put it in the front of the server that provide for you, or the touch point. Now, the well-designed CRM system provide a single enterprise view of the customer that is useful for improving both sales and customer service. So a good CRM usually shows all the information on the customer itself. So the server is providing the right service to this person. Now it can, we didn't speak about, but if you lose one customer, it can cost 6 times more to acquire a new customer. But it's easier to sell to the existing customers. So if you want to sell to a new customer, it takes 6 times effort, 6 times resources than selling to a current customer. This is why they do upselling to current customer, and there's more money. And sometimes they don't cost you that much when you come to enter as a customers for them. They will give you a free mobile or a free line or free whatever, just to get you as a customer, because they know it costs so much to get you as a customer, but then later on it's easier to sell you. So a good CRM or customers answer, what is the value of a particular customer over a lifetime? So it will show that when the person comes in, right away, what's the value, how much he was purchasing from you, whether he's been a good customer, whether he's been paying on time or not. Who are most profitable customer, and what do they want to buy? So this is where they start suggesting something to you as a upselling, because the CRM is already telling them that what they have purchased and what's the chance, what else there is a chance for them to purchase as a service or as a product. Now, as CRM models differs from one CRM to another, but on the top one is usually there is a partner relationship management. So if you walk in, there are some stores that you walk in and they are not IBM, they are not Bell, but they are representative of Bell, the representative of Rogers, representative of other service providers, which is they have access to the application that Bell built it as a partner. So they're as a partner. A good examples also when you go and buy your car from a car dealer. Here, for example, Honda don't have their own CRM. They're utilizing the Honda's CRM or the BMW CRM. BMW has one CRM and gives an access to rest of the partner. So it's a good partner relationship management. It's also employee relationship management. You can, while the customer needs something, so you can move this request, the service to the service provider or to your manager to get approval on the spot. And it's also customer relationship management. It tells you what's the customer been purchasing and what is the chance being purchasing, or what kind of services being receiving, or what kind of receiving. And usually it's integrated with the enterprise resource planning, which is enterprise resource planning means the financial, the HR, uh, and with the warehouse and with the supply management. So CRM derives its information from all these and gives its information back to this all these application, to the financial, to the warehouse, and to the supply management. And we will see it in how it works. Now, here I don't want you to look at everything, but if you look at it, it is the part where important for you is when we are providing the services. Uh, did we? This is our customer. So a CRM usually it activates services and then assure that the service is being delivered. And this is when they tell you 4 days or 5 days it takes to deliver these things for you through the CRM, because it's already connected to the warehouse, and it's the warehouse telling the CRM that if the product is there available or not. And it's telling the CRM how long it takes to deliver and what he's supposed to charge for it. So, and then it's basically when you are delivering probably the sales, you can easily to configure the data, the quotas, capture the order, and manage the order, and then you activate the service and you assure the services. These are comes from the sales all the way to the assurance services. Now, sales needs marketing information and leads, and then the services happening in the end. So it starts with the marketing, sales, and then the service. Now, we said what's the best CRM is usually a good CRM is the customer relationship management is a software that integrate everything within the organization, the position, who is the user, the contact of the customer, the account, the organization, the access group, the employee. It is a comprehensive application. Now, this is one look for Oracle CRM. And it's basically when they enter the information, the first thing when you walk in, they will ask you for your phone number or ask you for ID or, um, you ask the customer for ID. And here's the data shows up exactly whether you put the contact here and then the information comes in. And then you look at the opportunities, what kind of opportunity this person, and you can drill down all the necessary information about their address, their phone number, the account, the contacts, the sales order that has been done, the services, the quota. Somebody walks in there and says, okay, when is my, I didn't send an order and online and there is nothing happened so far. You can go and look at the service and says, okay, it is in a process, what is in a process, and what's the chance of the process. So there is another one is called the call center application, which is we saw a simple version on the video how the call center is, it works. But in the call center, usually when you receive a call right away, all the data, if it's connected to the phone number already done entered, all the data shows up and about that phone number. Otherwise, when they call, they can say their name or their number or sort of idea where you can drill down all the information for the services that is they are looking for. Now, if you notice, when you walk into loop to change your oil, they will probably look at the number of your car and on the behind the door, or they ask your phone number, and this such data shows up for them, telling them who's the car, what type of car, which year, and these are entered first time when you come in. Who's the owner? When was the last time they changed the oil? What's his email? What's the phone number? All these data shows up, so they can utilize it next time when they come in. So this is what it's a call center all about. Now, this is a very advanced application, and usually between companies with a mid-size to a large size use Siebel. Usually, Siebel used by a multiple application which is purchased by Oracle and looks at um, gives you a feeling when you are a service provider or service receiver that even a franchisee, and you don't feel the difference between a franchisor and a franchisee. You feel like they all one team working together. For example, when you walk in a BMW reseller, and they are authorized reseller for BMW, you feel like you're talking to the BMW. You're not talking to the reseller really. It's the same thing when you go to a McDonald's or any big organization. You feel like you are talking to the owner of the company. As a matter of fact, because of the CRM, very sophisticated, that doesn't gives all necessary information for the reseller, for the franchisee or franchisor. Now, this is once again, it's only an example, whether there's a query have done, what kind of collaboration happened, whether the order is being done, and this is how the partners site. So if you notice, this is um, the main side, and this is the partner side. And the partner will be looking at the same, almost all necessary information, which is a partner or a franchisee, that he needs to support the customer. So when you walk into a store that they sell Bell and Rogers, you tell them about your phone number, you enter it right away, it pops up one of the two, whether the Roger Partner Solution CRM or the Bell Solution CRM. So CRM is kind of an application that connected to these, as we said, to ERP, which is financial, to the warehouse, to the delivery, to all these data that you are looking at. Now, so common business component of a CRM. So as we said, when you, the first thing that they have is the account. So you come in and you give them your phone number to the bill. or to Rogers or to any other big organization, when you're requesting the service, the first thing they open up your account. It means they look whether you've been as a customer before or not. So when they see that you were a customer, all your data shows up, your contacts, the information, and whether there is an opportunities that they can upsell to you or provide you further things, and what kind of service you have requested, and where is it right now, how it's moving, the service that is provided, and whether you needed more assets, like for example, you need a mobile, a new mobile. Right away, they check the warehouse whether they have the mobile. If they don't, they will order one for you, and there is a procedures of setting up the order. Maybe it is the order done directly and they have it in a warehouse, or in a warehouse that they own, or they have a third partner who sells these mobile to them, and there is a different procedures happening. But you as a customer, you don't see that. You see that everything is running smooth for you, and you get that service for you is done. Now, so a common business component. So we said account, contacts, opportunities, service, and asset. So when you're providing a service, you need to look at all these information that they have it available for them. Now, so as we said here, we said that the fact that an account usually, once it tells you who is, this is when you from if you have a multiple partners, and the partners are what buying at what, whether they're active, what is the places, and how it's customized, how the sales orders happen, and what's the whole flow of the business and the service that you are looking for. Here's another look of the contacts that you are looking for, and the contacts usually when you enter, it usually has a name, the job title of the person, the email, the phone number, the work phone number, the mobile number. All these information are available to the server provider, to the that's providing the service, where he where you feel, if you are a customer, you feel that this person knows you very well. And uh, possible opportunities that are, I'm not going very details on this, I just want to let you know how the things works in a service providing companies. And they look at the opportunities and potential revenue generation event. So they're looking at when the person has purchased a mobile and he has, I don't know, certain package, what's the next package there is a chance for him to sell, to provide, to take. And this is what you call the opportunity. So he's trying to look the nearest opportunity for you, whether you possible to get another SIM card, or possible to upgrade your mobile, all these things. So you find out that he's suggesting things for you. And these suggestions, doesn't come on his sales quality only. It comes from the data that he has in the CRM, telling him what else he might be buying from you. Now, let's say a customer walks into you and he says, okay, my mobile is now working. So the first thing he looks at it, the server, check this mobile is now working, and says, what's the problem? And then he takes you the information, put the information of the what's the problem with the mobile, and gives it a number, and give you the number and the receipt, and make a service request. And the flow of the service request goes to the back end, where you cannot see that services. So there is two parts of the services, one that you can see as a customer and one you cannot see. So you need, the challenge is here, if um, you need, as a server provider, to let the customer how long it takes and what it takes to fix such a mobile. So all these information is set, or procedures is set to uh, follow the flow chart of the service, and also follow the flow chart of the customer, where is the stage is going on. If you notice in the video, it says we don't sell if there is no assets in the warehouse. So there is an application for a purchase product. It's connected, could be using the RFIDs, or could be using a warehouse application connected to RFIDs, or a scanning. So once one item goes out, the item left, it shows on the warehouse application, one item is less. So this also connected to the CRM. And when somebody comes in and asks for service, they will look whether the warehouse has it or not. And when you make an order, they will give you the mobile, or they will give you the mobile. The warehouse will notify the CRM, yes, we do have this product in a shelf, or we don't, because they are, warehouse is keep updating the CRM, and CRM is a tool that is updating the customer with it. So the assets of is always connected to the CRM. An asset number, the product, and the part number, and the status. If you go to buy part numbers in a cars from car dealers, the first thing he enters, he doesn't jump from one part to another part. From the CRM, he is integrated with the warehouse and sees whether this part is available and where it's located. So he goes back, especially in the Canadian type, goes back and in the shelves that he can pick it up and give it to you. And then one piece in the warehouse goes down. It's the same thing shows in the service who took that piece. Yeah. So the specifications of a good CRM, as we said, CRM application allow you to manage all points of contacts. So everything that the customer comes in with it, as a server provider or service provider, you are able to look at every angles of the customers, and every angles of what you have in the warehouse, what you have in the as a service provider back in the backstage. So you can have a 360 look at it. And types of application is an industrial horizontal application, employee application. It could be a call center, sales, or a customer application, which is you go for example, the the ATM machine is another a CRM machine, or best way of saying it, the e-cell, the portal, because it's connected to your data, and is also connected to your funds that you have, is connected to your accounting department, how much service that you're requesting. Now, let me give you a very brief example on an application called Telecommunication Administration and Billing System. It's TABS, and it's purchased by Huawei. This is one of the applications that I was in charge of implementing it in some countries. It's very expensive and a lots of work in it. So when you go in the customer as a customer to Roger or to Bell or to whomever there, you think it is a smooth operation, but you don't see how much effort is happening to make sure that these things is happening. It basically looks like that, and it's a scary looking one. Um, it is made of, for example, and this is Huawei use this. Similar, there is one more advanced for Bell, and there's more advanced for Rogers. And it's made of, it's called CRM interaction management. So inbound contact management, you know all the employees there almost on the system. The outbound contact management, you know all the customers and the partners, and resellers and distribution contact management. You know who is distributing and who is reselling for you. That's one module. Then you have the service, how you do the account management, whether there is an order management, there is a complaint, how you're going to manage the complaint, what's the complaint, is there an escalation? A customer comes in and start complaining about something and has been escalated, how the escalation happens, how you're going to solve the problem of the customer, because if he leaves not happy, he might not come back again. Has been served or not. There was other ones who is CRM marketing, and these are all integrated with each other. By the way, they're not standalone. And there is a partner relationship because you might be one of the partners, or you could be one who work for the headquarter, and you have partners that they work for you. For example, BMW, Mercedes, they have so many partners worldwide. Toyota, they have so many resellers. You need to manage these also. Now, also there is an administration, there is a partners, sales, and a list goes on. Now, there is also a billing system. I'm not going to talk about billing system a lot. I just want to show you how this, when you're trying to go and, you know, find, you want to get a mobile and a SIM card and a number, or there is a resource management. So he comes in and click on the SIM and gets you the SIM card, and then check the inventories. Then he print a voucher for you. All these process happened within the one system, one touch. It cannot, move from one to another. So this is probably the last slide because I'm not going to go more details on it. But you notice this is what's happened. For example, if you go to a mobile trying to get the service. Now, the first step, inventory for non-telecom items. The master is defined, okay? So what's happened here is basically there is costing for it, there is inventory transactions, and when you make an order, purchase requisition, you say, okay, I want to get this mobile for this deal, and I want to get a SIM card. The purchase the PO opens. When the PO opens, then the receiving, you know, comes in because he has to order the mobile, although it's on the shelf for you, but it's actually he has to order it. It could be, just take it from the shelf. And he has to do a purchase application because they are not producing the mobile. They are taking Apple, which is made from, they buy it from Apple. and then he can find the costing, and then he can do the inventory transaction. All these happens on regular base while you're standing there, and it goes to the accountant. Accounting will calculate the cost of the mobile and the cost of the SIM card that you are actually want, and from there it does the same PO goes to the supplier who is delivering these products to the warehouse or to you as a reseller, and the supplier will give it to you, but not the it could be supplier sending it to the store, and the store will be giving it to you. Now the process is then when the uh, Bill or Rogers receive this piece of mobile, or the third party receive the piece of mobile, there is a receiving telecom admin application, which is it goes to the accounting. So the first step, you're making the order, and the order goes to the PO as a PO to the supplier, and but the payment doesn't happen until the product it get shipped to the buyer. So the accounting should be updated, and then when the shipment received, accounting is aware of it, and then the purchase order being delivered, things is being receiving, a costing will be calculated, and then the billing and the collections happen. So then the third party will be sending a billing to accounting, and the accounting will be see the both together between purchase and deliveries, whatever the rules there, and then you have the the delivery happen. So all these procedures happening in the front of the customer, but the customer is not seeing that, because there you have you don't want to keep 100 mobiles. You want to keep only 5 or 10 of them, and you keep ordering them. And this is the process of purchase order. Anytime a customer comes in and try to ask for a new account, for example, a CS, a SIM card with a mobile, or buying a car, or whatever the product, if you are, you know, it's not sitting in your warehouse back there. It's always there is a deliveries, and according to the delivery time is the payments happen. So this is a responsibility of a server provider to put all these dots connected to each other, and he's supposed to give this service to the customer very smoothly. Yeah. So this, in a nutshell, the process of a service or purchasing process. Now, not self-care. I think we will leave the self-care on the next stage, next class, and we will talk about it on the next class. It's the last 2 minutes that we have. I just want to talk about the um, the assignment. Assignment is due next week, and it's about Jabal Ali. Please, you need to look at Jabal Ali, analyze it, see how the business is happening, and then you come up and tell me that how Jabal Ali became a unique from operation and supply chain management point of view, not the marketing, not the any other thing. So I will today I will send you an email. It's about your assignment, and let me know if you have any question.